I need to take a quick little poll because who here came first, like you would like to get some systems going on? Anyone? No one? Okay, a few people. Okay, so now I just need you to shout out what, and you're just going to talk over each other. It's totally cool because I need to focus on what we need to talk about today. I'm just going to kind of wing this. I hope Nancy Jo doesn't mind. So just shout out, what kind of systems are you hoping to build in your business? Shout it out.
Recruiting.
What? Coaching your team. What else? Recruiting. What other systems? Keep them coming. The louder you are, the more chances are I'll talk about your system. Show average.
Post-coaching.
Post-coaching. What else?
Onboarding new consultants.
Onboarding new consultants. Anything else?
Director training.
New director training. Okay. Now I need to know who in this room has small children in their home?
Yes.
Who has more like high schoolers in your home? Empty nesters? Grandbabies? Working full time? Part time? Okay. So this is to make a point. I don't have enough time to go over every single system that you all want to learn about, nor have I even developed all the systems for my own personal business yet. So that's kind of off the table. Nancy Jo only gifted me with 15 minutes. And the other thing is we're all at different places in our lives, right? Have you ever seen a system that somebody developed and you looked over it and you thought, well, it sounds really good, that's just not applicable for my priorities right now in my world? Anybody ever have that happen, right? So right now, me currently, this is me and my family's only source of income, and I have a 4-year-old at home. So my situation is a little bit different than, say, Marna Ross. Okay, so while the bones of certain systems can definitely be the same, how you implement them and how you devise them for your personal season of life is going to be different. So rather than just give you 1 or 2 systems for you to walk out with today, what I'm going to gift you with is the 5-step process to develop your systems. So now you can go forward and make any systems you want, and you can teach your team members how to make these systems. Okay, is that kosher?
Kosher.
Good. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you the process, the 5 steps, and I'm going to parallel with it the story of my own personal journey through this past year of developing a system which led to the belief. Yes, Dave?
It is so loud on this end because
It
it's
is-
like partying down.
It is very loud over
Can you
there.
just project a little?
Project a
I mean,
little?
I can't even ask, but it's just getting louder.
I know, it's
I think
super
as the
loud.
drinks are flowing more.
I don't have notes.
Wow.
Here.
Where's Patty?
Oh, sorry, Patty. I just stepped out for
Thank
one
you.
minute. Okay, so let me take you back real quick to October 2015. Okay, I was coming out of a horrible month sales-wise. Okay, I had done, it was just, I think it was 12 or 13 shows that month, and I only had about 4,100 sales, so I wasn't even going to meet my elite seller status. And if you do the numbers in your head, that was leaving my house, my husband, my son, for not a lot of money. And I was mad about it, and I was disgusted. So I hopped on a coaching call with my coach from Southwestern, Nick. If you're not familiar with Southwestern, little plug there, they're amazing. And I vented to him, and I said, this is awful. I can't believe this. I left my house all of these times, and I don't really have a lot of money to show for it. I was mad. And so Nick asked me, he said, are you disgruntled more like with your business, like you think you want to quit? Or is there just a portion of your business that you're not happy with? And I said, no, I love my business. It affords me a great lifestyle, and I blah, 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 but I am not happy with my shows. And that's the first step in the process. You have to identify something in your business that needs work, that you want to grow in, or that needs to be changed. And that's what I love with direct sales as a whole, is you never just arrive. There's always opportunities for growth, right? Always. So everyone in this room, you have either an area or several areas of things that you want to develop, you want to grow in, and you have to be able to identify that first, okay? Because this is how systems emerge. If there's no area to grow or reason to do anything about it, why develop a system, correct? So that was the first step. So then Nick said to me, he said, okay, so in a perfect world, what would you really like? How many shows a month? And I said, I would like 2 shows. Every week, 8 shows a month. And so Nick said, okay, why don't you just do that? And I said, Nick, did you not just hear the sales that I just had? How my shows are crap. If I only do 2 shows a week, we're going to go under. We will not be financially solvent, okay? And he said, okay, well, how much in sales would you like per month? What would make you feel good? I said, I would personally like about at least 8,000 every single month. And so Nick said, well, Grace, that's easy math. You want 2 shows a week, that's you want 8,000 in sales, that's $1,000 each show. And I said, yeah, right, Nick. And he goes, what do you mean, yeah, right, Nick? And I said, Nick, that's $1,000 show average. And he goes, so? And I said, well, that's only for those people. And he for those people, but to say I am those people, I just have to develop my system. But you have to be willing to acknowledge that there is a perfect picture that you would like to try to achieve, right? So for some of you in the room, you want a higher retention rate with your new consultants, right? So that's the problem area. In a perfect world, what would you like your retention rate to look at? Okay? You have to be willing to say that. And this is where really good coaching or a really good accountability partner comes into place, because they're not going to let you get away with letting yourself off the hook by just saying that's for other people. Okay? So that's the second step in the process. You have to say, in a perfect world, what would I like to see happen? So for me, it was I want a $1,000 show average because I only want to leave my home twice a week because I want to be at home with my child and husband more. Okay? So then Nick said, okay, Grace, if you're thinking of those people, what do you think they do that leads to their $1,000 or more show averages? So I just started brainstorming, and I was shouting out things like, I know they get the guest list, and I know they're sending out invites, and I know they're doing it this way, and they're looking at outside orders. I just started shouting out everything that I knew that I had taken from trainings. And if I had to guess, everybody in this room, we've had the trainings, correct?
Yeah.
We've watched the YouTube, we've listened, we've read, okay? We all know those core key concepts, and then all the extra fluff that people put on top of it based on their personalities, correct? So that's what I did with Nick, is I just got it all out. And that's the third step, is you, like, whatever you want to set your system up for, you need to say, okay, this is what I want to grow in. In a perfect world, this is what I would like to see happen. When I think of Marta Ross or Paula Bruckner or Sherry or whoever it is, what I think what they do or what I've heard in their trainings, from all these people, what am I seeing? And you just write down all these ideas, and you need to get them out of here, either in your Evernote or on a piece of paper or however you best function. So that's what I did. So we left the call with my homework, which Nick said, Grace, you have a huge list of ideas on how to have $1,000 shows. He said, now what you need to do is you need to look at that, and you need to see what sings to you personally, what's going to work for you personally. And that's step number 4. After you dump all those ideas, you need to look at that and say, okay, now based off my priorities, my personality, what's going to work best from all of these ideas? And that's how you start building your system. Do you see? Does that make sense? So for example, for me, it was looking at that and saying, you want to know what? I'm a little OCD. That's me. I like control. So I'm going to send out the invites. I always have, but I'm going to get more intentional. They must get me a guest list of 40 names and addresses. If they don't, do a catalog show. Because I'm looking at quality over quantity. Okay? They had a time limit they had to get me their guest list by. Okay? If I did not have that guest list by that time, I rebooked that date. And if they ended up getting me a guest list, we just chose a new party date. Okay? But my system emerged from this. Okay? So you look at all those ideas you dumped, and then step 4, you look at what sings to you, and that's going to build that system. And step 5 is implement. And you have to commit to your system. So I guess the committing and the implementing kind of go hand in hand, because I'm going to tell you, I promise you this, the more meaningful the system, the more impact it will have on your life and your business, the more resistance you will meet. Okay? If somebody's going to do a kickback on you, like to try to see if this means enough to you. So for example, the very first gal that I implemented this with, okay, she was my very first show in December. And let's face it, December shows are gold, aren't they? They're a little hard to come by. I mean, you know what I'm saying. She sends me an email back saying, Grace, there's no way I can get you 4 days. Work from home, blah, blah, blah. Now I had a decision. Was I going to truly implement and embrace the system that I worked to build, right, to come up with? Or was I going to cave and just go back into my old habits and accept probably another $200 or $300 show? So I came back with her, Carla, I can respect that, but here are some ideas of people that you could invite. You want the knife block set, and I don't want you getting it half price, I want you getting it outright free. Carla, I don't want you having just a $1,000 show. I would like to see us having at least a $2,000 show, and I know you can do this. So I partnered with her. Carla, in 10 minutes, sent me back a guest list of 40 names and addresses. The girl who works at home and doesn't know anybody. Okay? She had a $2,600 show. And the only complaint she has today is that I wasn't in the direct shipping pilot program way back then. She had to make deliveries. Okay? But see, I had to implement it. Right? And what will happen belief builds in yourself, okay? And that's what happened, because I'll tell you, the first 3 months of working this system, I kept wondering when the fluke was going to wear off. When were the $1,000 parties going to stop happening? When were the $1,200 parties going to stop happening? The $2,000 parties, when was this going to wear off? And honestly, it wasn't until about April that I was like, okay, maybe this isn't a fluke. Maybe it's the system, right? And the only time in this whole past year that my show average dipped below 1,000 was in December, this past December, because I purposefully did not have my system. And I was kicking myself for it. I made the conscious decision to let some hosts slide. And while at the time it was scary, because I was like, oh my word, I'm not even going to have that big of sales, I'm glad it happened, because I couldn't come to you and tell you that you have to stick with your systems when they're working. Because the second that you pull back is the second your business is going to start going, and you're going to kick yourself, and that does take a toll on your belief in yourself, okay? So again, your process, identify a problem area. Number 2, excuse me, honey. Number 2, what you need to do is you need to then think in a perfect world, what would you like to see? Okay. Number 3, anybody have number 3? Brainstorm, get all those ideas out. Number 4, pick what sings to you, and that's going to develop your system. And number 5, that's when you need to implement. Okay? And I'll leave you with this. A lot of you are going to start thinking, okay, now I want a system for this and this and this and this and this, correct? I'm going to give you all just full permission. Pick one. Like, I didn't go into 2016 thinking that I was only going to work really on one system, but that's how it really happened. All of 2016, my focus was get this $1,000 show average, but it was bigger than that. The bigger picture was I want quality over quantity, because then I have quality time with my family. Because time is precious, I'll never get that back, correct? But the interesting thing that happened was by just focusing on that one system, which I really encourage you all, even if you only choose 6 months out of this year to focus on one, please don't overwhelm yourselves. You need to build one. And what will happen is the ripple effects from that will touch every area of your business. Because this not only touched just my show average, it touched my recruiting, 27 recruits last year. Yay! It touched my bookings. It didn't touch my team right away. But the interesting thing is by following this last year, more of my girls were saying, oh, having your host invite 40, there's something to that. And now all my girls that are working towards directorship this year, all of them are saying, yes, we need to make sure we have those guest lists, because that's where we're going to see the people at our shows, and that's where our future recruits and leaders are. So just know that ripple effect will happen as well. So hopefully I've armed you so you can go forward and make your own systems. And don't keep this to yourself. Now go train this at your team meetings so that your team members can also be developing their systems. There you go.